Hello and welcome to another episode of Grove Effects, where today I'll be reviewing Kotobukiya's 172 scale Liger Zero from Zoid's New Century. This kit is one of my first, technically not my first model kit. This is one of my first ones for sure that I've built in terms of Zoids. And I actually, when I was a kid, I used to have the Hasbro versions, Liger Zero, and honestly, it was very, very different. Like for the cockpit, the entire top part of the head, even where the mane was, actually would flip open instead of just the little cockpit part like you would see in the anime. And it even came with like a very big cannon or something like that, and you had a small little figure bit cloud. This one though does not come with the bit cloud. This one is the repackaged version. I think that's what it was called. I know that the Führer was called that. So in other words, this one has a bunch more water slide decals, but as you see in my previous video, I was only going to want to use just the Liger Zero, and you can see right there, it's just on the shoulders. You'll see the Zero logo along with the name right there. That was all I wanted to use for this particular kit. I didn't want to go ham on terms of the decals. I wanted to kind of keep it more simplistic, kind of more accurate, I guess you could say, in a way, to the anime version, even though in the anime you don't actually see the Zero logo there, but I still wanted to add it anyway. So that's basically what I did with that kit, aside from also putting in a little bit of black wash here and there for the panel lining. I didn't repaint it. I actually decided, you know what, I am going to stick with the, how to describe, it's like a little, kind of like a sunbathed white, a little bit you could say. Just a slight hue of maybe like a sandy color in there or something. But overall, I am rather impressed with this kit, and it holds up quite well. A lot of articulation, a lot of moving parts here and there. It's not as simple or bland as that Hasbro figurine I just showed a few moments ago. This one actually does have a lot of good articulation involved. Moving on over here, we can already see a bit of the, I guess what you would call inner frame, I suppose. This is basically in the anime and in the manga, I'm sure as well. This is the base, absolute base form of the Liger Zero, where there is no armor on it. You don't have the Jaeger, the Panzer. You don't have anything like the Schneider or anything like that, or even just the regular Zero like you saw earlier. This is just the standard inner frame, you could say, or just the bare bones of this character, where he doesn't have anything on him, and you can see all the kind of like detail that Kotobukiya went ahead and put in. And I gotta say that in terms of build quality, this kit was definitely unique. I've already built like 40-something different Gunpla kits, mainly being master grades. I only have like a handful of 144 scales. But this particular kit was just like, wow. And including the Fury as well, or the Führer as it's actually supposed to be called. I haven't built a kit quite like this. If anything, I could almost say this would be more akin to like a master grade for Ka, I would probably say, or maybe something even more, possibly like a perfect grade. I've never actually built a perfect grade, but yeah, in terms of like the kind of details you have, the kind of complexities that you have as well when it comes to building the kit, it's pretty crazy. Once you get to the actual armor bits, the extra parts that you do attach to this kit, it's very simplistic. But when it comes to making just the legs, the torso, the head, and everything like that, it is pretty complex, and a lot of opportunities to add a little bit of paint work inside. Like, excuse me, I burped a little bit. Like you can see right here, this is my completed version. So the other one was when I finished the kit, but I didn't do anything with it yet. This is when I was finished with it. I didn't want to go, I guess you could say, too ham, I guess you could say, or too crazy with the whole paint work on the inner frame or anything like that. I added some of the silver bits where they would go on in terms of the bolts, especially like what you would already see around the elbow joints and everything, the knee joints. I added a little bit of gold here and there, or like more of a bronze color, to some of the bits on the internal parts where they had like a little bit of detail, especially you can see the little bit on the cheek of the Liger here, sorry. And on the cockpit, you can see that this is the basic form of the cockpit. You're just going to have it in standard black. You can have that, or you can go ahead and paint it. I tried to follow the similar color scheme that you see it in the anime, but yeah. Here we have the Zoid core. I personally don't remember ever seeing it in the anime, but it's pretty good. It's got a lot of good details. You do have to add the silver and the black lining and everything like that, but it's pretty good and has a little bit of articulation. Moving on to the actual Zoid here, you can even see that there is opportunities for black lights. So if you do have a blacklit room, know that this guy will actually glow a little bit, especially on the eyes, on those little red marks, as well as the Zoid core. But yeah. Moving over here, you can see he's got a pretty great form of articulation, so it's actually really good. I was quite surprised with just more or less the kinds of poses you can pull. Unfortunately, though, when he does go into the saber claw, I forgot the name of the move already. I'll probably put it in the descriptions here. He is a little bit limited in terms of where he can turn and how he can move, especially with the arms. But other than that, it's actually very flexible. Another thing that surprised me too, and like you can see in this picture, I did not have him supported or anything like that, and he actually held up quite well. I couldn't believe that he actually could hold himself up on two paws while still kind of doing a little pose there. So that was pretty neat though. Now, of course, if you get a little bump into the side there, yeah, you'll tip over. But other than that, yeah. The poses that you can strike, as well as possibly doing any dioramas, are just endless with this particular kit. There's a lot that you can do, a lot you can pull off, more or less. I did have to shave off the back part of the head a little bit, so this way I can allow him to look up as much as he could. But that was probably like the only little modification I personally did to my kit, just for the added flexibility. And going in parts that are included, all you have is just the base Liger form, along with all the armor bits that you have for the basic Liger Zero. I didn't have the little extra pilot that it came with. I kind of lost that. I was in the middle of painting him. I had him on one of my alligator clamps or whatever. And I was just about done with painting. I was just going to go into using a tertiary detail or colors. I already went into the secondary and I was just going into tertiary colors. And then the clip just up and decided to snap it off and like fling it somewhere in my room. As for those of you who build plenty of model kits, you know the pain of when a piece falls into the pit and the void of your room, no matter how non-messy it might be, and that's it. You'll never find it again, or probably years later or so. So I'm pretty bummed about that, but overall, this kit is amazing. Definitely, if you can pick it up for a good deal, I would recommend it. And honestly, I actually like this line for sure. It's just a shame that it's very limited, so that's the only downside, and that's why the prices are a little bit jacked. Overall, though, I give this a definitely 10 out of 10. Regardless, I hope that you all did find this video at least helpful in some way, and would appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe, or anything that you would like to see more in my videos, something maybe like changing up how I make them or something like that, to give a little bit of advice here and there. I am trying to grow this channel into something at least, but other than that, you know, you all stay safe, stay healthy, and just have an outstanding week, and hopefully an outstanding rest of the year, because yeah, it's going crazy. Anyways, this is Grey Wolf, signing out.